I am so honored to bring on Dr. Milton Lawler and Auburn Mann of Fathers Incorporated. Dr. Lawler, how are you?
Fine. Thank you for having me.
Good,
Having
good.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, and is it Mr. Mann? How are you?
Oh, Auburn. That's good. Just like the
Auburn, I'm sorry.
university.
Yes.
I'm doing pretty good.
Wonderful. Good, good. Yes, thank you. So I'm glad that you all could join us today. And it's never too early, even though Father's Day is in June, but it's never too early to talk about fathers and the great role that we know that they play in our community and why they should be recognized. And so tell us a little bit about Fathers Incorporated and the history of the Father of the Year awards. And I'm not sure who to throw that question to, but whoever
I
wants to
guess I
take
have.
it,
Yeah.
please
Go
do.
and take that, Auburn.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Fathers Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And it was started in 1987 by our founder, Ernest Whitson. And the basic reason for Fathers Incorporated, we have a vision. Basically, the vision is to kind of save the traditional American family. And encompassing that the actual tradition, we have and that's the vision. We have a mission, which is brotherhood, manhood, fatherhood, and gentlemanship. Now, brotherhood, we're saying basically setting up behavior, establishing behavior, and that's what we look at of selected fathers, or that's just a candidate.
Well, that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
You go ahead, Mr. Mann. Were you done?
Say, we have manhood. Basically, is that look at an individual who is fulfilling or has the responsibility of being a man in today's society, taking responsibility for his behavior, actions, and contributions. Fatherhood is basically that role of being a good father, where you also not just to your family, but you displaying that role that model in your community, in your neighborhood, on your job, your business. Gentlemanship is basically that treating people fairly, male, female, with respect, when you're talking to them or just the conversation or in the way you interact with them in general.
Wonderful. Mr. Lawler, Dr. Lawler, if I could ask you quickly, you all have a Father of the Year event. I mean, how can someone put on a piece of paper, if that's the criteria? How do you judge or determine who should be a recipient for an award?
Well, based on the nominee from family members or someone that the father knows, they fill in the gap. So they provide the information, and our evaluation committee will evaluate that information, compare it against the criteria that we have listed on the site, and make the determination on who fits the bill. And I think since the inception of the award, we've fairly identified many deserving fathers, and it's just one of those things where we know what a father should be like. Some people don't know what a father should be like, and lately we've been receiving very deserving nominees from Hampton Roads, down the Norfolk area, and the local area as well.
It's interesting when you say knowing what a father should be like. One of the things my mother and I often talk about is that, some people become a mother or a father and there's no book, right? There's no lesson plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, or evaluation sheet, it's just prayer, right? So, I guess when you say knowing what a father should be like, that's an interesting point that you're making. And how do you decide what a father should be like? Who's making that decision?
We really have to move from the model that most of us grew up in. And I want to acknowledge that your mother and your father, I followed them. I arrived in the area in 86, and Calvin and Wilhelmina Rolark were pillars in our community. And they set the example for what a family should look like. Most of us, like me, grew up in the 50s, 60s, and the father model, we couldn't replicate that father model because, first of all, we didn't have the economic support, we didn't have the skin color, and our culture was different. So in the 70s, as the Black movement started to evolve, we started to define a different father, more Afrocentric father figure. And through the years, we were able to support that. But now it appears that most people are more interested in playing cops and robbers instead of business leaders, political leaders. So the founder of our organization, Ernest Woodson, he used his example of growing up. His mother raised 5 children, wheelchair bound, and she served as mother and father. My father passed when I was 11, and it kind of hurts a young man, me in particular, when no one picks you up. You know, no one wants to be around Milton. No one wants to be around this guy here. So, you know, like when you come across a father figure, you know it, you feel it. He just gives you that assurance that, hey, you don't have to worry about it. You're a man as far as I'm concerned. And that's all you need is that assurance from another man saying that you're a man or you're a young lady and you're ready to tackle any issue in the world because I got your back. And
I want to.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was going to jump in really quickly because actually my mother is watching the show. Wilhelmina was my stepmother, and
I'm sorry.
no problem, no problem. But that's that's kind of what when you talk about the new model or the older model of what fathers are, and today there are a lot of younger men really who are opting out of becoming husbands and fathers. Maybe because, well, let me ask you, why do you think that might be the case?
Okay. Well, can I answer this? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I think the case is even when we went through the racial inequities and discrimination and all that, we still, like I said, I came from a 2-parent household. You know, father was World War II combat veteran. Like I said, myself, and I think I know Ernest, I think Dr. Lawler, we're all Vietnam area veterans. But we had that. I guess I was born in Virginia in the South. We had that traditional role: mother, father. You know, boom, and that's what you're supposed to do. You know, 18, you military or college or job, or you got to get married. Different times people got married and had families, but there was a traditional role. And that role seemed to have worked. I guess throughout the years, in the society, things have changed, but that role did work. Now we had to face with discrimination and everything, but the thing was, you were raised, you came out, and you did what? You established a family. And it follows certain rules and guidelines. That nobody's perfect. Things happen. Life gets in the way. But but those traditions, they seem to be effective. I mean, you look at just in the political leaders, the ones who have an established family, father, mother, children, following traditional roles, seem to have less problems. And I guess I'm looking at
unless your last name is Trump. I just want to
yeah, well, there's always exceptions to the rule. I don't care what you do in life.
We got lots of wives and children and all kinds of stuff going on there.
Yeah. But again, like I said, it seemed like we've gotten away from that. You notice basically the increase in violence,
yes,
racism, and we have always had that stuff. It's just people have gotten more bold in doing it,
Right.
Well,
And let's
worldwide, not just in this country, in the community, but fastest up around the world.
I think we're going to end up having, as we move closer to June, really having a probably a longer conversation about fathers in the community. But how can folks apply or be a part of the Father of the Year event? Is there a place where they go and submit information? What are you looking for?
We have a website, Fathers Incorporated net. You go on there, you'll see everything, including who the board members are, the mission, the goals. You'll see basically how to apply, because there's a nomination form. You go in and fill it out, and the person nominated is usually a family member, could be a friend, could be wife. We've had that in the past, and you can also donate too. Like I said, we are a nonprofit. Okay, you donate, and we'll have a telephone number that's on the website. You can call, and if you can't answer your questions on the site, you can call in.
Does it cost to register or to apply?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
And what's the deadline?
March the 31st.
Okay.
And the reason for that, because we have an upcoming Father's Day award ceremony scheduled for June the 14th.
Okay.
Of this year.
Wonderful. And where's that going to be? I'm just curious.
Okay.
We're still determining.
It's still determining the site.
Okay.
And location.
All right.
But it's encompassing the Washington, D.C., I'm saying Montgomery County, Prince George's County, the local, will also include Northern Virginia. So basically the DMV locale.
Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Well, I want to thank both of you all for joining us and for having this brief conversation about the fathers then and fathers today. We're going to have that more of that conversation coming up in the future, because it's important. You talked about the family, and that's what I think is so very important. So we appreciate you coming on, and hopefully you'll get some great applicants, and looking forward to who that person is. It just going to be one person, one father, or do you do more than one?
We have a group of nominees. You can select that one father.
Okay.
We meet and we select they meet the qualifications that I mentioned: gentlemanship, fatherhood, brotherhood. Okay. And once they meet that criteria, we basically screen the applicants and everything.
Right.
And select the nominee.
All right. Wonderful.
And the prizes are they receive a cash prize as well as a trip for the family to a resort down in Florida.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. All right. That was the carrot that we needed to get those applications in. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so very, very much. Yes, sir. Mr.
But just one more thing.
Yeah.
Right now we have flyers out, and also billboards out in Northeast and Southeast that you should be seeing in the near future.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to be promoting it as well in the Washington Informer. So looking forward to doing our part to support this. All right, you all gentlemen have a great day.
You too.
Enjoy the weekend, and thanks for coming on.
You too, and be safe.
All right, you too.
Take care.
Father of the Year. Well, we're going to bring on a great father who has, I've met two of his sons who are quite dynamic young men. Mr. George Lambert, President and CEO of the Greater Washington Urban League. Welcome, George. How are you? I think we need to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
I was saying good morning, Denise Rolark Barnes, and I wanted to begin by saying thank you for telling our stories for almost 60 years.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you've been doing what you do for a while as well, and fortunately, we've been able to tell the story, and so glad that you're joining us during this Black History Month as we talk about the legacy of the Greater Washington Urban League. And I think I want to start by how sad we all were when we lost your predecessor there.
Maudine Cooper, yeah.
Yes, Maudine Cooper, not so long ago. I mean, I know she hasn't served for a while, but she was a staple in the DC community and really did a lot, including that building that you're in there.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's something you wanted to say about her before we.
Yeah, I succeeded Maudine in 2014, and definitely stayed in contact with her. She was certainly a mentor, a good friend, but a mentor to me for many years as well. You're absolutely right. The league is very blessed. The building that we're in now at 2901 14th Street was a building that on Maudine's watch, and then also board chair Jerry Moore, their watch, to really kind of put us in that building. So the Urban League does have a home there. We're very delighted. I know that oftentimes many nonprofits struggle to have a home base. So Maudine had a vision to do that. And so we're very thankful. And the work that we do there, we still credit her that all of it happens out of that building. So absolutely.
Yeah, that was quite an effort to get that, and I know you all are very proud. It's a beautiful building. Plus, you've been able to provide a home for other organizations that
Yes.
needed
Yeah.
a place
Yeah.
to do business as well. So tell me, let's talk a little bit about the Urban League and the Greater Washington Urban League. And I mean, maybe I'll even start with that because we know the National Urban League, but how did we determine the name Greater Washington Urban League as opposed to just the Washington Urban League?
In fact, it was the Washington Urban League at some point. I'm a
That's what I
bit of a
thought.
dinosaur. Yeah, I'm a bit of a dinosaur, so I do remember that. But again,
Oh,
back to my
I'm a
predecessor,
dinosauress.
again, Maudine. But Maudine, quite frankly, did have the vision when she became president and CEO of then the Washington Urban League to expand the footprint into Prince George's and Montgomery County, therefore changing the name to the Greater Washington Urban League because of the expansion of our footprint. And so that's why it became the Greater Washington Urban League. We're delighted that we do have a presence in both of those jurisdictions, doing some work, but we want to do more in both of those jurisdictions. And even with one of our honorees this year, have certainly supported them in our advocacy portfolio with regard to helping them to continue to sustain themselves and have some viability in their community as well.
I know we're here to talk a little bit about the Whitney M. Young Gala that's coming up. But that's one of those programs where it kind of highlights all of the programs that the Urban League does. And
Yeah.
if you could just give us a little, um, I guess, what's the word I'm trying to use? Tell us a little bit about all the many programs that you do. There's so many. And then how that kind of bubbles up to the gala itself.
Well, first, I start by saying to you that we have what I refer to as 5 business lines, so to speak. So, housing, workforce development, entrepreneurship and small business, financial empowerment and inclusion, and then, of course, social action. And so that is the work that we do. We have a very robust, I would say, housing portfolio, help persons become first-time homebuyers in the city, do housing counseling in the city, and so many other things around emergency housing as well, and so many other things around that particular portfolio as well. But probably somewhere around about 12,000 clients a year come to our doorsteps for support in terms of their needs. And we're so blessed and honored that we have many partnerships, but particularly with the District of Columbia government, we have a major partnership there where they support a lot of the work that we do at the Greater Washington League. Sometimes, folks will ask me, well, what is the relevance of the Urban League? And I tell them, I say, you know what? Ask our clients because our clients and our customers, they really get it. They really understand it. We know that we've made a difference in their lives. We know that we have helped them to scale, and we know that we've had impact in terms of the work that we do with them as well.
I know when you talk about impact, I know people often talk about all the programs, but is there a favorite story that you have, George Lambert, that makes you say, this is what we're all about? That thing that happened that said, wow, this is why we exist. You want to share that with us?
Interesting you should ask that. I know within my first few months or so when I became president of the Greater Washington League, particularly the staff that manages our housing portfolio, first-time homebuyers, they came to me and said, well, President Lambert, we've helped maybe 300 families become first-time homebuyers in the city. And I said, data points are important because they are important. We have to share that information with our funders. But I said, but what I really want to get in my ear and what I would appreciate if you all would share more with me is the impact of that. And I explained the impact of that is that we've changed the net worth of those families.
Mm.
That's impact. Okay. And so that's what we try to really lead within our work. Yeah, we have lots of numbers that we can share all that data, but it's at the end of the day, it's about the impact. So for that particular business line, we've changed the net worth of those families, and we're very delighted and pleased that we were able to do that. One of my favorite stories. I have lots of them, but since you asked, that's one of them.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I've read some of your commentaries that you published both with us and in the Afro, and so I know, impact is important to you. You're just not out here trying to make money and trying to run an organization, but you want to change people's lives. And so I knew you had one there or a couple there. So let's talk about the gala. When is that coming, and why, and what's the mission?
So Friday, March the 15th, we're going to do it at the Ronald Reagan International Trade Center building. I got to tell you, we hadn't done a gala in about 4 years, since about 2018, 2019 or so, because of COVID, quite frankly. And as I've moved around the community since then, so many folks have said to me, well, when are you going to bring back the gala? When are you going to bring back the gala? When are y'all going to do it again? And quite frankly, it had always been what I consider the watershed event, because people, if you miss somebody, you haven't seen them for a year, guarantee you come to our gala, you will see them. And so we decided that this year we would bring back the gala. We had gone to a smaller event, which we were doing at the Martin Luther King Library, kind of a Courage Under Fire event. We were delighted we were able to honor you a couple of years or so ago as well.
Thank
But
you
we
so much.
decided, we decided by popular demand, I'll put it that way, we would bring back the gala. So after about 4 years, we're now bringing back the gala, and very delighted with the lineup of honorees that we're going to be recognizing. So first, Governor Wes Moore, and so pleased that Laura Coates from CNN will come. We do a fireside chat, so she will be the person that will really kind of engage him in that fireside chat about the great work that he's doing in the state of Maryland, which I mentioned earlier as part of our footprint, Prince George's County and Montgomery County. And then three local honorees. Chris Turner, who I know you know a lot about, you all probably did some publishing and writing on him, but served time in prison, is now out. And for him to really kind of talk about what that was all about, I've always said he has a powerful testimony. We need
Yes.
folks to come out and hear it, and certainly to be a part of it, understand the tragedy so many times of what happens in our communities. And then also Patrice Sultan, who leads the DC Justice Lab. I had the pleasure of serving with her. We both served on the DC Police Reform Commission a few years or so ago. And but the work that she continues to do, fighting those many of those battles, which we try to support on the sidelines, so to speak, but fighting many of those battles, we're delighted to honor her. And then finally, um, a group called the Scotland Community. The Scotland Community is based in Montgomery County. They had about 200 acres many years ago. The grandfather bought the land. They're down, they don't have that much land there now. You can imagine the cost of land in Montgomery County. But they're still fighting the struggle to hold on to a church there. And so we want to, be supportive, help them to do some things so that they can sustain that community. So that's our lineup, our honors. I think it's gonna be a great night. Of course, our young professionals, they will be doing their event, their thing, or whatever. We're very proud of them. And then our guild will come and support us as well. We give scholarships at that event. So lots of good things will be happening.
Well, one thing about the gala, which is probably why people miss it, like you said, it's like the Black family reunion that we all miss
There
that the
you go.
National
Yeah.
Council of Negro Women used to do. It's a time for people to get together, and during these times, and I guess you can probably attest to this, Black organizations are under threat, and so
Yeah.
we need times to really kind of come together and network and share and honor those who are making a difference in our community. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're bringing this back. And then, of course, this also helps to support the programs that that the Greater Washington Urban League provides in the community as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. As I said earlier, we're very fortunate, blessed. We get great support from our funders, and most of those dollars are restricted dollars. But the gala helps us to really raise unrestricted dollars, because we find every day there's so many unmet needs, things that we don't get funding for. And so these dollars give us the discretion to address many of those unmet needs as well. In fact, we have a fund now, it's called an emergency fund, but a few years back we did not have that. And so it was kind of some dollars that came from the gala and other funding sources, we were able to put that in place. So that's what we use the dollars for, some discretionary dollars to address other unmet needs as well.
We put the flyer up, but we want people to know that they can still, I assume, purchase tickets unless it's sold out already. There's some of these
Not quite
events.
sold out yet. We still have room, so come on and join us. Our website is GWL365. You can go there and certainly find out all the information you want about the gala, but not only about the gala, but all of the other programs that we're involved in and the work that we do. And if you're interested in volunteering, I heard you mention something about volunteering earlier. Yeah, we do still use volunteers. Some
Right.
folks we're able to pay, but we have a lot of support and work that we're not able to pay, and been very, delighted that volunteers have come to help us to execute on some of that work. Yes.
Before I let you go, because this is the kind of work that you do, if you were to point to something right now that you think was one of the the biggest challenges or issues that you would love the Urban League to solve in DC? Not that you can solve it all alone, but what would that be right now?
You know, Denise, I got to tell you, we have been active and engaged in so many issues. I mean, they're all kind of top of mind for me, so to speak, in terms of key priorities. I remember about a year or so ago, we got engaged in discrimination in algorithms. Not a lot of
Mm,
folks are aware of that, but it is an issue. And so we've had a dialogue with the DC general attorney, hoping that he can jump in and help there as well. But it's an issue. I maintain it's an issue for us because we do have a very large housing portfolio. So to break that down for you, what does that mean? If you are going online and you're really trying to identify where you might be able to get a great loan, and then you put your information in regarding your background and all that. So say you went to an HBCU, maybe you've had a bit of a credit, um, uh, blimp or whatever, and that algorithm sometimes will kind of forward you to a package that is a bit higher than someone else. And
mm,
so we have to always keep in mind algorithms are done by individuals. I mean, we put that information in. So we maintain that it is something that needs to be fixed. And we're hoping that that is one that, can certainly get turned around. The National Urban League has been involved in that issue with us as well. Uh, I got to say, because I always think about Congressman Norton, DC statehood is still very important to us. Okay. You and I are both native Washingtonians, so we get it, we understand it. But
mhm.
DC statehood is really very important. And so to the extent that we can help to push the margins on that, we want to be involved and do that as well. And then for the Urban League movement, we refer to it now as the 3Ds, but certainly to defend democracy, to certainly defeat poverty, and to demand diversity. And those are kind of the 3Ds that we're working on. And we will continue to push very hard on those. So those are some of the issues and things that we are concerned about and where we will push and where we'll continue to be engaged. But we know that for us, the future is at stake. And so that's where we want to make sure that we position the folks that we serve to have a future that they consider to be very comfortable with, and they will be a part of the process, not excluded from the future in the process.
Well, George Lambert, Jr., President and CEO of the Greater Washington Urban League, we're so really, really grateful that you were able to join us today to share information about the work that you're continuing to do here in the DMV and also this upcoming event. Thank you for joining us, and we certainly will look forward to talking to you again as we continue to tackle these issues that impact our community.
Denise, again, thank you so much. And thank you again, as I said, for telling our stories for almost 60 years.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
All righty.